Hey everybody, it's midnight Saturday in the East Coast. We're gonna go old school today, and like watching the old monster movies. But let's listen to this first.
Ooh, the Monster Parade.
Slip, and you're all alone. Shadows on the blinds, tap tap on the phone. Frank at the door, mummy in the hall, vampire on the porch. Hear the echo call. You better run, you better hide. Hold your breath, stay inside. Hear those feet on the floor, they're not knocking anymore. Monsters are coming for you. Monsters are coming for you. Frank, mummy, vampires too. Monsters are coming for you. Run, run, run. Hide, hide, hide. You can't get away tonight. Fang marks gleam on the window glass. Old black boots on the welcome mat. Frank's got stitches, mummy's got tape. Vampires grin and disappear late. You better run, you better hide. Don't look back, no time tonight. Hear those laughs down the street. They're getting closer to your feet. Monsters are coming for you. Monsters are coming for you. Frank, mummy, vampires too. Monsters are coming for you. Run, run, run. Hide, hide, hide. You can't get away tonight. When the moon goes thin, cold wind hits, every little fear starts to shake and twitch. If you hear your name in the dark outside, don't you open up, don't you let them pick. Monsters are coming for you. Monsters are coming for you. Mummy, vampires too. Monsters are coming for you. Run, run, run. Hide, hide, hide. You can't get away tonight.
Well, I hope you guys liked that new song from EBI Media. I kind of liked it. I thought it was cute, and welcome to Late Night with Eddie Buffalo. I'm Frankenstein's son, and I'm sitting next to the vampire son, Dr. Andy. Woo!
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that. I always was most afraid of the vampires and
Really?
most wanted to be a vampire.
So we're having kind of a problem the past couple of days. AI has forgotten how to spell. Did you find the other typo?
Yeah, Al.
Eddie.
Yes.
Looks like bones, though.
Yes.
But like Late Night with Eddie Bubble. Starving number 12.
The highlight of my Saturday night for
Oh, heck yeah.
years and years
Heck yeah.
was Chiller Theater or Creature Features.
Now, all the comments and statements by Eddie Buffalo and Dr. Andy are horrendously scary and for entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
So I got into monster movies from my dad. I mean, and there was like a wide variety because I always remember my dad was born in 1933, and I think I shared this with you, what huge monster movie came out then. And I considered a creature feature also.
King Kong came out.
King Kong,
33.
1933.
Frankenstein came out about 2 years before he was born, and that ushered in all of the Universal monster flicks.
Yeah.
Universal had the big four: Frankenstein, Dracula,
The Mummy.
the Wolfman, and the Mummy.
Now, where did the Invisible Man fit in there? Because I always liked those too,
The
actually.
Invisible Man was also Universal, and that was really interesting. I always wondered if the Invisible Man ate something would they see
I don't know.
his bowel movement floating through the air
Yeah.
inside him?
Well, he's already got poop in his colon, so you
Right.
would have seen
How
it
is he
already.
invisible?
I don't know.
Plus, did he have to go barefoot?
Maybe he had to be naked, so he's hanging out with his penis hanging out all over the place.
I'd not thought about that, and now I really don't want to think about that. But my favorite part of those scary movies every Saturday night, we had a babysitter who was absolutely
He's told me
gorgeous,
this story a bunch of times, so make sure you listen.
and she would get scared, and who was there to hug?
Vampire Andy.
Yes. Eventually, she got wise.
Now, I got to ask you, like jump scares are pretty scary. And the one I remember the most is I had to be like 10 years old. And that's when the first Friday the 13th came out with Jason. And I'm watching it with my mom. And this isn't a spoiler because everybody's seen it. But at the end where he jumps out of the boat, holy shit. I think I pooped my pants.
I was never so much a jump scare. I like suspense. So
Okay.
Universal was made for me, and they made quite a raft of Frankenstein movies: Dracula, Werewolf, and Mummy.
Well,
they actually made up the Mummy because the other
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, sure. Frankenstein's based on a novel by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. Dracula's based on a novel and a lot of folk tale from Eastern Europe, Bram Stoker. Werewolf, they've had werewolf and changeling myths in Europe since they had Europeans.
Oh, yeah.
The Mummy, what had happened was when Carter opened Tutankhamun's tomb in 24, it sparked public interest and public fascination with everything Egyptian. The movie company said, we got to make something up.
Oh, yeah.
So they employed an occult writer who wrote him like a 9-page sort of like a plot for a mummy film. And they made it up themselves about this mummy, lost love, a priest, incantation, and the mystic canna leaves that they had to cook to raise the mummy.
Well, I'm looking up something before I open up my mouth because I want to make sure I get this right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do have it. So, 1957.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the star of I Was a Teenage Werewolf?
Michael Lynn?
Yes. Pa!
I got lucky.
Or was he Little Joe on Bonanza? I couldn't remember the name.
I no idea. It's not a big TV guy.
My ex loved Little House on the Prairie.
And then there's that remake, I think, with Michael J. Fox.
Oh, that Teen Wolf. That was bad.
Yeah.
That was bad.
But
And then
let's
Jason
go
Bateman
back.
did another one.
Let's go back to the classics. I love Bride of Frankenstein, which she sees.
That
him
was
in the
really
faces.
good. That was really good.
I love Dracula, watching him romance the women and watching him try to pick the one with the most psychiatric damage to fall in love with. Nina.
Nice knockers. Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Young Frankenstein.
You gotta love Young Frankenstein.
Some
There's
of the
so many
outtakes
things.
are even funnier than the movie.
Now, I don't know if you remember me telling you this. Peter Boyle had played the monster in
Mhm.
Young Frankenstein.
Yes.
He was friends with John Lennon and Yoko Ono. And Yoko introduced him to his wife.
Oh,
And what
didn't
is
know that.
really crazy is that John Lennon was his best man.
wow.
Isn't that neat?
didn't
I
know
love
that.
I love little bits and pieces like that from pop culture, you know. So I just throwing that in there. I gotta ask you though, do you remember more watching it when you were a little boy on TV or at the movies?
TV for the Universal films. Most
They're
of what
older.
was in the movies was the Hammer films. You know, the company Hammer made a whole bunch with
I've never
Chris
seen
Lloyd, and
I've
people
never
like
seen the
that.
Blob.
they,
Never.
I do remember.
I'm gonna leave you alone for a second. I blow my nose.
I remember Creature of the Black Lagoon terrified me, even though the monster had a fairly visible zipper up the back.
Oh,
Special effects were not that special then. But the thing that really carried it was they would build suspense. It was somewhat believable. You would buy in, it was uncanny. They take you a step off a normal, a step further, and next thing you know, you're standing 4 feet off the cliff.
So here's I got a couple questions actually
Sure.
to talk about it. Where do the Munsters fit into this mess?
Oh,
How about the Addams Family?
that was just, them trying to harvest popularity. The Addams Family came from a cartoon that Charles Addams had been drawing since the late 20s about macabre and very offbeat situations. And he had some recurring characters they pulled together to make the Addams Family.
So this is what I never knew before. Have you been to Waxahachie, Texas yet? It's about 60 miles away from here.
No,
A family recreated outside and inside the Munster house. You can actually take tours of it.
And I know the Munster Mobile was quite a hot rod for a while.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a rail. It was like a rail rod racer with a little.
And it's the same guy that did the Batmobile. What was his name?
I don't know, but he did a lot of cool cars. My favorite cool car from that era was the Black Beauty of the Green Hornet.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty cool car, actually.
It was like
I don't ever remember watching the Green Hornet though.
I was only on for 2 years.
Oh, really?
I think I watched every single one every time I could.
Who made the Munsters car?
I want to say Ed Barris, maybe.
George Barris. You were so
Barris.
close. Yes. That's interesting.
Yeah, he made a lot of the funny cars and hot rods at the time. Back to the scary things.
What do you consider Godzilla?
I consider Godzilla kind of second generation garbage. It's more a tale of our fear of
How do you
nuclear
really
war.
feel?
It's more a tale of our fear of nuclear war because our atomic waste made this thing grow.
Who was in the original one? Orson Welles, right?
Yes.
That's amazing.
And the rest was
Must have had bills to
essentially
pay.
dubbed with Japanese men and women playing most of the other parts.
I used to love watching those when I was a kid. So, we talk about monster movies and, we wanted to talk more about the classic ones. How about the one with Jeff Goldblum? Does he fit in the monster?
Fly.
Yeah, that was it. Because that was the
original Fly was really eerie. But I really, really enjoyed the Big Four. And there were 2 or 3 movies where they had to have a crossover. Was I think House of Frankenstein, and there was one where Frankenstein and the werewolf were to have all 3, the vampire, the Frankenstein monster, and the werewolf together. They were not very well plotted, but just getting all 3 of them in the same film made my little heart beat faster.
I'll tell you one thing that was more terrifying to me than the movies were is I had to be like 10 or 11 years old, and at Studio Arena Theater, they put on Frankenstein. And watching it on stage and everything happening with real people in front of you was fucking terrifying. It really was for a little kid.
I can only imagine who they got to play Frankenstein the monster.
Couldn't even tell you. That's crazy.
Fun fact about the Addams Family, Gomez, Charles Astin, was originally brought in to audition for Lurch's part.
Really?
And then they found Ted Cassidy, who just happened to be 6'7".
You're right.
Originally, he was supposed to be mute, and he just did that as a one-off during filming.
Happy little accident.
They kept it.
Happy little accident.
He was also the Thing. It was Ted Cassidy's hand.
I didn't know that. Because I know I watched the making of the Wednesday series on Netflix. It was a reimagining of the Addams Family, and just the things they can do with that hand is just amazing to me. With the special effects. But you really got to go back to a lot of the special effects in those original movies. There's an interesting story about Young Frankenstein. Do you know that all of that equipment that you saw in the lab
was from the original Universal film,
and it was sitting in a garage for like 30 years, just sitting there?
Well, when the Addams Family wrapped up, all of their stuff from their house got stolen. Everybody zipped away with it.
I bet.
It was in black and white. In color, the Addams Family house was painted pink because that showed more interestingly in black and white as gray.
I can't see it as being colorized. So I know Monsters Go Home was in color, the movie, which wasn't a great movie, but it did have the cool car. like you were
Yes,
talking
that is
about,
it.
you know. And you know what I think is really odd is that even though a lot of these older films were in black and white, they still had the green makeup on these guys because it would just look so different on film than it does like we were just sitting here doing it, you know.
Yeah, I enjoyed the suspense, the build up, especially during the first couple, Frankenstein, the first Dracula, the first two mummies.
Dracula scared the shit out of me.
One of the funniest things in one of the mummy movies, I think they were in America someplace and they were trying to figure out who murdered somebody. And a local sheriff bends down, picks something up, and goes, mummy dust. Like they train you to find mummy dust when you're a sheriff in Maine.
I gotta say, I mean, a lot of the movies have been remade. I mean, a bunch of the different Invisible Man movies were made. The Mummy with the Rock, you know, that was a bunch of things, but they don't feel like the original, you know.
You don't get the suspense, you don't get the feeling of the uncanny where you start in a world that makes sense to you and you ease off to the side.
Like I forget
the werewolf when he goes and they have the Romney woman, gypsy woman, I think is a bad word for it. The Romney woman who reads his hand and sees a pentagram. Maria Uptonskaya was the lady who played her, little old lady. And she goes, oh, that scene just blew me away.
Oh, I bet. I got to ask you something. I'm looking up for it right now, Andy. You know who Guillermo del Toro is, correct?
No, I do not.
He was the person that did Hellboy 2.
Oh, okay.
Pacific Rim, Pan's Labyrinth, The Shape of Water, and last year he redid Frankenstein.
Did he do I, Frankenstein or something like
that? No, he did Frankenstein, but what he did is he cut the movie in half. The first movie was from the point of view of Victor.
Oh yes, I saw part of that.
The second part was from the viewpoint of the monster. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. And it's called Frankenstein. So
yes,
you know, you just got to make sure it's the one from 2025. You know, I enjoyed it. I really did, because at first I'm like, this is gonna suck.
It was a more faithful rendition of the book.
Yes.
Which was also called Young Prometheus.
My gosh,
that was the other name.
Now in the Young Frankenstein, the scene where the blind man meets Frankenstein, and you know who that was?
What's that?
Gene Hackman.
Yes, and I love at the end he ad-libbed as the monster leaves his room. You want an espresso?
Dude, that was all ad-lib, that scene. And they only had him for a day, you know, because he was friends with Mel Brooks. And do you know that he went uncredited for about the first 15 years that film was around?
I was unaware of it.
Oh, because he was also in another Mel Brooks film. If we go look at it, and that was the old the sheriff's near. The Gabby, the friggin' crazy old prospector guy. That was him. That was Gene Hackman yet again. So now, what film really scared the crap out of you when you were a kid?
I don't know if we count it as a monster movie, but the most scared I ever was, I was a little guy, and my dad took me to see Night of the Living Dead.
That's a creepy freaking movie, dude.
I was not the same for about a week, 10 days. It horrified me. It absolutely horrified and revolted me. Plus, it had uncovered female parts, which I was very young and I was even more horrified about. So I did not sleep after that. And when I was very little, he took me to see, I'm trying to think, I'll have to pass until I think of the name of it.
Would you like to take a road trip with me?
Sure.
To Kingsland, Texas?
Sure. What's there?
They serve up some good stuff there. They might use a chainsaw to get to meat.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
What'd you think of that movie?
I never saw it.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I didn't see the original. I did see the remake, with Leatherface, and that's a creepy son of a bitch right there.
I don't do the shock and revulsion and jump scare movies much.
Yeah.
I'm more a classic Universal film
Mhm.
guy. You know, because it doesn't please me. It just at the time makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. What are the big four who played all these parts?
Karloff, Lugosi, and I'm trying to think.
What are the big four monsters from Universal Theater?
Karloff and
who played
Lugosi
them?
did most of it, and I'm blanking on the name. Lon Chaney Jr.
Lon Chaney Jr. Yes, I see that.
Those are the three who did the best jobs.
So this is the rundown. Okay. We're talking about Dracula, Frankenstein's
Lugosi.
monster, the Wolfman, and the Mummy.
Okay,
Lugosi,
was
Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney Jr., later becoming the only actor to play all four.
Yes.
That's interesting. That is super interesting. I think so. Anyways.
Yeah,
I like
classic
stuff like that.
Dracula was Lugosi. They used Lugosi as Frankenstein once, but they couldn't have him vocalize it all because when he tried, he made the cast laugh. He just,
Who played the Invisible Man? Oh, this is going by. No, they're doing with the one from 2020. We're talking about the one from 19. This is 1933 also,
Mhm.
Andy.
Yeah, the early 30s was,
Who wrote it?
give me a second. I just read the book. I'm
I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's a classic book.
H.G. Wells.
Yeah. It was coming to me.
With Gloria Stewart, Claude Rains.
Claude
That's
Rains.
who I was trying to remember.
Yeah,
To me, that was very terrifying, that movie, because you
Mhm.
couldn't see the dude. You're not going to see what's coming at you,
Yep.
you know? So they had a bunch of them. Invisible Man Returns. How would you know?
yeah.
I just can't see it.
The Invisible Man wanders
Boom.
into the gym locker room.
So if you had to pick and be one of the monsters, who would you be?
Dracula, most definitely.
I think I'd want to be the Invisible Man to actually, get into some shenanigans. I'd hide stuff on people,
My luck, I'd be like the belching Invisible Man. I'd be hiding someplace.
Now, there's a movie that I never saw, and I'm sure you have because of the generation you were in. Talk about The Blob. Is that something that I want to actually find and watch?
It was amorphous, a lot of terror, and then the
Really
reveal
scared of
was
that thing. It's
Well,
like
they
jelly
just-
coming at you.
right. It was
don't
more
get
the
it.
people inside saying we're scared, and then like
It's
the
coming.
3-minute reveal of it looked like giant flubber.
How about this, Andy? Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah,
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
the 65-foot
That was
woman.
so dumb. Oh, that was good too. Yeah, that was good. What was the one where the guy got shrunk down? I remember the TV show, but I don't remember. I remember Amazing Voyage, which was amazing to me, where they're going in the body.
Yeah,
with
Isaac
the-
Asimov.
That was
an
amazing movie. If you've never seen it, they kind of remade it with Randy Quaid and
the first one had Raquel Welch as one of the scientists.
that's why wouldn't you want to see it just for that? Come on, we're all red-blooded American men. Hey, women too.
Well, I'm a little green-blooded, but
Yeah, Martian.
a reptile. I'm reptilian.
Oh, you started that rumor, not me, Andy. Just so, and we're gonna get all kinds of questions on that
It
one.
explains the tale.
You have a hell of a tale to tell.
Yes. Brooks Brothers will not make suits for me anymore.
Another movie that I never saw until probably recently, because my son-in-law was telling me, you gotta watch it.
Mhm.
And that was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was awful.
Plan 9 from Outer Space was pretty bad.
That was considered the worst movie ever.
Yes. Bela Lugosi died during it, and they basically used to prop him up.
Wasn't it like it was like a
made
gorilla
no
suit
sense.
with some kind of helmet
With
on him?
a gorilla suit with like a colander over the top.
I remember around Christmas time, they'd always play Santa Claus versus the Martians too.
I passed on that one.
It was pretty good. I liked it.
Who won?
I can't tell you. I want to wreck it for you.
Uh,
No spoilers on this show, folks. None. Like, you know, and it's funny. There's a fine line between the old monster movies and the blood and gore that is today.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm not as enamored with the blood and gore and the jump
I mean,
scare.
the suspense is kind of cool,
I like-
especially the Halloween movies. I kind of like that. Like Phantasm. Remember Phantasm? That was kind of scary. That metal ball coming to get you.
I did take a date to see the movie Scanners, which people's heads kept exploding, but we were otherwise engaged.
I was gonna say the first time I ever took a girl to the movie, it was when Freddie came out for the first movie, and they said you need to take your girlfriend there, and it was.
We
wonderful.
went to a drive-in to see Scanners, and she brought her little sister with her.
Well, that was a mistake.
Well, we put her to sit in the front, and we sat in the back and talked about world politics.
Yeah, you solved all the world's problems back then.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. Little
Yes, we
little
did.
in and out, little back and forth.
Not quite that far, but
And you slow learner, I guess.
I'm very slow learner.
Not like Eddie Buffalo.
I need hand puppets.
Oh, yeah, me too.
There is a hand on my leg that goes out. the
I thought
wall.
my hands are fine. Must be the invisible man. Ooh, he's got a thing for you, Andy. He thinks you're hot. So it is very interesting, you know, and going back to, it seemed like after school, they always had the Godzilla movies on, you know, Gamera, the turtle looking thing,
Yeah,
you know, Mecha Godzilla, things like that.
Ghidra, Mothra.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I Mothra. I don't get, wow, that was scary. But you know what we should do a show on?
Destroy all monsters.
Yeah, that was a good one.
They blew up every piece of plastic they had for that. It's like one of the monsters was a Walmart bag.
Or how about the when Godzilla versus the smog monster? It was just like a mist. Like they ran out of money, I guess.
Same
You
thing.
know,
Obviously made during the writer's strike.
the crazy shit that people will watch. You know what I mean? It's wondering. You know,
That's
I was
why
like,
I always go back to the Universal films, the early 30s, Frankenstein 31, Dracula 31, Werewolf
definitely scary.
35, 32 for the Mummy. Those first 2 or 3, and Universal also knew that they had reached the end of that cycle when Universal put together Abbott and Costello.
so
Neat.
now my father was cheap. He was a cheap Polak. All right.
Okay. Are there
But-
any other kinds?
No, but when he was like one of the people that put together the boys club in South Buffalo, and we had a huge Halloween party, and
Oh,
I
boy.
remember going down to Georgian Company, which was, I don't know if it's still there, still a thing in Buffalo, New York on Main Street, and I got myself a Frankenstein mask. Like they went over your whole head. It looked fantastic. You know, it smelled horrible because
I can imagine. Like
God only knows
plastic.
what chemicals they were using in the
Yeah, plus
70s.
they get sweaty.
Oh yeah, you get really hot.
It gets sweaty.
But I ended up winning the contest for
Oh,
the
very
best.
good.
Yeah, I had like his black suit on and like a black sweater, and then like remember the old galoshes that you pulled up over your shoes?
Oh, yeah.
I hated those goddamn things, but that's what I had on my feet, so I looked very Frankensteinish. Very.
I only ever won one costume
What's that?
contest. A friend of mine was in ROTC and he's about 6'5".
Big dude.
So we had him wear his ROTC uniform, and I got one of the silk kimonos. I found women's shoes the size of my
Yeah,
feet.
yeah.
And I found one of those big hats that comes down and covers your head. we went as a war bride couple.
Oh my God, that's funny. That is funny. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed our look down memory lane with 2 of the original scary monsters that your grandparents watch, your parents maybe, you know, maybe you watched them on late night TV. Because I used to love it when like the MCs would come on and they would actually host the scary shows.
Oh yeah, they'd have
There's always something regional.
Vampira, or
She was a hot babe.
they had Vampira. They had a couple.
Oh, Elvira, I'm thinking of. That's who I'm thinking of. She was hot. She still is hot. Cassandra something something. I don't know, whatever. But check them out. You know, because I'm sure you'll be able to find them somewhere online nowadays.
It was a cultural event. We go in 4th or 5th grade on Monday and talk about what was on Chiller or what was on Creature Features.
I'm wondering if I haven't heard Creature Feature in a long time.
Yes, I just like Chiller.
I'm wondering if a lot of them are going to be coming into the public domain, like a lot of the animation. It's got to be getting close, you know.
That I do not know.
So then me and Andy, we're going to make our own monster movie.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. You could be the Mad Doctor.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Hey, I won't need makeup.
And I'll just be the monster, which I don't need makeup either.
He makes a good point.
Thanks.
I wonder
Thanks,
what
buddy.
part of the monster he got.
Thanks, buddy. Oh, you're such a jerk. Anyways, anywho, we're gonna finish this up like we always finish up this late night show.
Are we going to keep fighting again?
We're not fighting. You do this every time. We're not fighting. Life is too short. Nobody makes it out alive. So make sure you resound. Make sure you surround your. He's just killing himself over here. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. You got your funny shoes on today? Yeah, he does. He got funny. He's what, funny like a clown? So we're gonna say goodbye.
He's gonna fold under questioning.
Surround yourself with people that make you laugh and make you happy, because, like I said, life's short. Nobody gets out alive. And we will see you next week. So fire band. Take care, everyone.
Mummy dust.
Take care, everyone. Bye. Nice knockers. Oh, thank you, doctor. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Could you explain that to me?
No. You're a doctor. You can figure it out.